Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Stone Show.
Stone Show.
I'm going to edit you so you look like you're just sitting there, and then I'm going to have done it, and everyone will be, be like, dude, Mo, rock.
We'll work on that.
Dude, I know.
Yeah,
I can't do that. Are you joking? There's no way. Hey, man, welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here. What a beautiful day. Mm-hmm. Hey, we've got a special show for you today. We are doing a retro album review, which is one of my favorite shows to do. But we are choosing, at Rob's insistence, was it? Well, I don't know if it was insistence, but we are choosing the Singles movie soundtrack.
Yes.
So this, dude, anybody who lived during this period knows how influential this soundtrack was.
Absolutely.
In 1992, everyone, and I mean everyone, was trying to cash in on the newest fad taking over the airwaves, grunge. Suddenly, kids were trading in their baggy bum equipment sweatshirts for dingy flannel shirts from their dad's closet, right? Everyone got darker and more brooding overnight. It was like a foreshadow of emo. Suddenly, everybody's just angry all the time, right? Hollywood, looking to cash in on this trend, quickly put together a movie about young people living in and around the Seattle scene. I have a feeling I'm not alone when I say that the only thing I ever saw of this movie were the pictures and the liner notes of this soundtrack. To this day, I have never seen this movie.
Ooh.
Not even joking.
Wow.
I know jack squat about it. But this album is a completely different story. I've listened to it, and some tracks more than others, for years. This music went far beyond the movie it was meant to promote. Here it is, Singles movie soundtrack. Yep. So I assume you've seen the movie.
Yes, many times. And
is it worth the watch?
I think so. I'd be curious to watch it now, 30 years later.
Yeah, through now's lenses, yeah.
Yeah, 33 years later. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I do remember loving the movie, but like you said when we were texting, too, I think the impact of the soundtrack at this point is going to live on longer than the actual movie itself. But
Absolutely.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And it's a good snapshot of the time, I think.
I'm going to try and maybe check that out just because I think it would be, like you said, it would be interesting to see, what attitudes it's conveying. Because Generation X, we are very different from the generations that are young today. And we were very different from the generations that came before us, too, for a lot of different reasons that we're not going to get into on this show today. But hey, man, let's just get started. And this is great because this doesn't happen very often. I'm going first today. So I get to choose, or not choose, but get to talk about the first song. The first song is Wood by Alice in Chains. And, I hopped on the AIC train as soon as I bought Facelift on tape in early 91. There was just something about Lane's voice that was so unique and compelling. I still maintain that Alice in Chains is the very best of all the grunge bands, both from a performance and a songwriting standpoint. Now, that's my own personal opinion, but I think they are the best of the bands. This song is from the album Dirt, which, this was a massive hit for this band, right? You had Rooster on that album as well, but this was a big hit too. And I believe this was the first single, no pun intended, from that album. Yeah. After this, they would go on to make Jar of Flies, which is my absolute favorite of all their albums. But after years of drug abuse, Lane Staley finally succumbed on April 19th, 2002. He was such a powerful singer, and Alice in Chains was such a powerful band. R.I.P., buddy. I love this song.
Yeah, I do
great,
too.
Great kickoff, too.
Yeah, it's a great opener. The album starts with that bass riff, and I think it sets the mood for the soundtrack perfectly for what you're about to get. It starts off brooding, like you said, which is what the time was calling for. Mm-hmm. And it's one of my favorite songs to cover. I actually saw Alice in Chains live open for Van Halen, and it did not go well for them.
Wow.
It wasn't a good mix.
What year was this?
94.
Okay.
It was when the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour.
Yeah.
And I do remember, I think Jerry Cantrell was wearing a New York Rangers jersey in Philly too, so that probably
That's
did not
not going to help, dude, bro.
But great song.
Yeah, I love Cantrell, but I'm not sure about that choice, dude.
I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he did.
That's awesome. Well, there it is. Hey, Alice in Chains, there it is, Wood. So what do you got? Your first song here.
So my first track is "Breathe" by Pearl Jam, and this is a song I wasn't as familiar with as the rest of the album, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Why I kind of overlooked this song, but it's great. It's Pearl Jam at their prime. They still have that raw feeling. The song has a bridge in it after the guitar solo, which is kind of uncommon for a Pearl Jam song.
Yeah.
And the bass tone is just awesome and in your face. It's really mixed high, and the outro solo is just signature Pearl Jam. It could be like the end of Alive.
Yeah.
Again, Pearl Jam's one of those bands where I think they could have stopped a long time ago and probably held on to a legacy. Mm-hmm. That's the way I see it.
Sure.
I don't connect with their newer stuff as much as I did with that stuff.
Interesting.
And I think this song just captures that old Pearl Jam.
That's very interesting. So, do you remember how crazy people got back in the day when they found a Pearl Jam song that wasn't on one of their albums? I mean, people lost their minds over this. They're still freaking out about Yellow Ledbetter.
Yes.
I mean, people still freak out about that. But, I mean, seriously, this is a good song, and it's classic Vedder. It's got that, ooh, I mean, dude, that's Vedder, baby, right? I'll be honest, in my opinion, to comment on what you commented on, I personally think that Vedder has gotten better as a singer as he's gotten older.
Yes.
And his solo stuff, I actually enjoy more than the Pearl Jam stuff that's being released now. I really enjoy Eddie's stuff. I think his voice has gotten better. He's got more control over it. He doesn't do so many of the same sort of singing things that he did back then.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So the third song on the album is Seasons by Chris Cornell. I started listening to Soundgarden in 1990. I mean, this is long before the grunge thing happened because there was a name for it back then. Soundgarden was just a metal band. Mm-hmm. And, I heard the first time I ever heard them was after seeing the movie Pump Up the Volume. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, Christian Slater.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a great Generation X movie. I went right out and bought that soundtrack immediately following seeing that movie. I mean, immediately. And it was shortly after when my good friend Bundy lent me Louder Than Love, which is, their 88 masterpiece. I mean, it is an awesome album. It's 88 or 89. And I had never heard anything like these guys before, man. Cornell sounded like a banshee wailing the way he did, man. I mean, I was hooked. The lyrics, the deep metal music. I was never into sort of the hair band thing. Like that just wasn't, I was more of a punk rock kid, right? So I really liked how hard, I mean, you could hear that. I mean, Hero was still part of the group during Louder Than Love. So that bass was just, just so deep. And, it was just so much, Soundgarden was so much harder in the beginning. But it was really always that voice that made them special. Let's be honest. I mean, certain singers define a generation, and Chris Cornell was such a man. His range and power were godlike. This song foreshadows Chris's more subtle, introspective side. His solo music had a tendency to be more like this song. It was a little more acoustic, a little bit more subdued. I think he liked that style of music too. But the acoustic is just so perfectly mic'd and so dark in this song. That vocal control, it's outstanding. I appreciate that they avoided the temptation to make this song electric. It really showcased the versatility of these bands, in particular Chris Cornell.
Yes.
there it is. So
Yeah, I mean, you have Chris Cornell and an acoustic guitar for 3/4 of the song. How can you go wrong?
exactly.
I do love the fact that a majority of this song is his lower voice, which, when you think of him, you do think of the howling, the screaming high, like a banshee. But to hear that low tone in his voice and the control, like you said, is amazing. And we are going to have an example coming up of that other Chris Cornell voice.
Indeed, we will.
As well. But yeah, this is great. And the orchestration at the end that comes in is beautiful.
He was such a talent.
It really, and
really
this,
was.
I think this shows.
And he's
that.
every drummer's dream. Not a lot of people know this, but he was the original drummer of Soundgarden.
I did not.
He played drums. This was way back, right? But he played drums. He's like every drummer's dream, man. I'm going to go from being the drummer to being probably the most celebrated singer and performer of his era.
Like Phil Collins.
Yeah, dude. Kazing.
Huzzah!
All right, number 4.
All right. Somehow I luckily got this one.
Oh,
Who picked the order?
Dude.
All right. Dyslexic Art by Paul Westerberg. I love this song. Everything about it's fantastic. I did not know who Paul Westerberg was. Westerberg. I just said his name wrong.
Yeah.
Was when the only replacement song I knew was I'll Be You, which had come out in early 90s. It was on MTV all the time. I didn't know Alex Chilton and all the other great songs. So when people made a big deal about Paul Westerberg being on the single soundtrack, I didn't get it.
Right.
It was just a cool song. And he happened to have 2 of my favorite songs on the album, but
Yeah.
that's all I knew about it. But when I think of the movie singles, this is the song that comes to mind. And I did go back and double check. This is the song that they played during the trailer. So this was anytime this came on TV or in the movie theater, this song was playing in the background. So it ties very closely to the movie for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. It's just a fun, happy song.
Dude, the replacements, I mean, I got to tell this quick quip about him because it just makes me laugh so much. So apparently he was the band that he joined, which became the Replacements. He was walking by their rehearsal space and heard them. And he walks in and starts listening to them and starts hanging out with them, right? Well, apparently he convinces the then lead singer that the rest of the band wants to fire him, right? So the guy quits before they can fire him. And then Westerberg joins up as the singer. I mean, dude, that is maniacal.
That's awesome.
That is there anything more rock and roll than that?
That's
I mean,
pretty
dude, Westerberg is a legend, dude. But this song itself, I mean, it's pop gold, dude. It's super fun. Just the idea of a dyslexic heart is so Westerberg.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so Westerberg. It's also fun to note that he was the inspiration for the name of the high school in the 1988 movie Heathers.
That's really cool. I did not know that.
Westerberg High.
And Winona Ryder was in both movies.
Yeah. In what do you mean both movies?
Heathers and, I'm sorry.
She wasn't in Pump Up the Volume. She looked like the girl, but that was a different girl.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was going a whole different route.
But I felt like they were trying to, anyway.
Dude, don't listen to me.
This is, that was it. Dude, that's a great movie, by the way. Another classic Generation X movie. So, yeah, Dyslexic Art. There it is, man. Dude, we are like...
We have to move on. I just realized I was thinking of the wrong movie. It's been a long morning. All right.
Bro, we need more coffee. Hey, so the next song is Battle of Evermore. This is easily the most played track on this album for me, like, since it came out. I was shocked that anyone would have the stones to play this deep cut Zepp tune about Middle Earth. Dude, if you knew the young Moe's obsession with The Lord of the Rings, you would understand how I felt about this track in 1992 when I heard this cover. Back then, we didn't have the internet, so it drove me crazy to think about who this band, the Lovemongers, were. Because I thought man, they sound so much like Heart, right? I looked everywhere for other music from them because it was so good, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't until years later that I learned it was, in fact, the Wilson sisters. The Love Mongers is just the Wilson sisters. No one else could have rocked this song so well. They sing Zepp better than Zepp. I said what I said. Ann and Nancy are two of the most underrated musicians in rock history. What a powerhouse. They absolutely killed this song. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back to Mordor. Dude, I'm such a geek.
You really are.
I don't even care.
Okay. So I don't remember the fact that this was the Wilson sisters being as big a mystery as it was for you.
It's possible that I'm just stupid.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I didn't say stupid. You did.
Blissfully unaware.
I thought it was kind of more widely known, but I could also be mixing up the facts. But I'm very openly not a huge Zeppelin fan, so I didn't even know this song. It wasn't A Whole Lot of Love or Rock and Roll or the radio songs that 94 was playing.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was a cool tune.
Well, dude, it's like shoved in between rock and roll and, that other song that we don't talk about, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
On Zoso, yeah.
Yeah. But all that being said, as you said, it's Ann and Nancy Wilson. It's magical.
Dude.
Yeah. They're
so good.
Their heart.
Yeah, dude.
Call them the Love Mongers. They're still hard.
Whatever you want to call them. They sing and harmonize. I mean, and dude, just Nancy Wilson, man, as a guitar player, I'm just in awe when I watch her.
Still.
Because it's not just electric. I mean, she rocks it out on an acoustic guitar too, man. I mean, she is a generational talent.
Yes.
Anyway, can't say enough about that. All right.
So Chloe Dancer, Crown of Thorns, Mother Love Bone. So this song truly makes me wonder what could have been. I need to go back and listen to the Mother Love Bone album. After listening to this song, I did go back and I started skipping through some of their other material. I believe they only had one album before their lead singer, Andrew Wood, passed away. But you have Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam in the band, with members of Soundgarden as well, I believe.
I think Matt Cameron in that band?
I think so, yeah.
If he wasn't, he was like involved in it somewhere. Yeah,
so
that's real convoluted. I can't remember.
Yeah, but basically, I believe that band split up and became Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. But what a great song. And Andrew Wood's voice kind of reminds me of a mix of like Axl Rose, but not as in your face, and Mike Patton in Mr. Bungle. Like that kind of nasally, but energetic voice, very different from the Eddie Vedder sound. So I really need to listen to the album, but I think they would have been huge had he stayed with us.
Yeah, and I think they weren't as grungy either. They were Wood was more of like, he was more akin to like glam Bowie type stuff,
and you can hear that.
I think the way he dressed and the way he sang, it was very ungrunge like. But when you think about the grunge singers, at least the popular ones, they all have very different voices.
Yes.
And to your point, I think I remembered. I don't think it was Soundgarden. It was Mudhoney.
Okay.
That the other members joined Mudhoney. I think
I should have done more.
Dude, if you're out there and please correct us. We enjoy being corrected because then the next time I can be right. But dude, love Andrew Wood's voice. He really does. This song is so great. But every time I hear this song come on, it always takes me a second to realize it's not every little thing she does is magic. Like, it gets me every time. Like, even when I know it's the Mother Love Bone song, I keep waiting for Sting's voice to come in because that piano, it sounds so similar.
Yep.
I mean, it's so anyway, that's just, wow, there it is. Yep. Neither here nor there. So the next song is Birth Ritual.
This is the one I'm jealous that you got.
Yeah.
So dude,
and here it is, man. Soundgarden being Soundgarden, that deep, chest-pounding metal. This song is so dirty. Soundgarden is so dirty. They're so just relentless. And it comes in with this like backward tape thing. Mm-hmm. And then it just crunches so hard on that verse riff. Is that 7/8 time? I kept trying to count and I'm like, it kept leading to, a 7 beats. And I'm like,
I think it's 6.
Then I miscounted it. But I'm like trying to count because it's played a little off. So it's weird. But dude, then it comes in with that soaring chorus. It's just like, bam. And they're so different. They're so different. What did you count it just now?
I think it's 7.
Yeah. I mean, and dude, how often do you hear that? I mean, what? All You Need Is Love? Can you think of another like modern rock song?
Unless
I can't unless it's Tool. Yeah. But anyway, dude, it's that voice again, bro. Mm-hmm. People, this is before auto-tune. This man really sings this well. How he did this night after night after night at all those shows, I will never know. Alice in Chains might be the best of the grunge bands, but this early Soundgarden is by far my favorite. Man, does he wail at the end too. I mean, his voice, it is so unique.
Stratospheric.
Oh, my
yeah.
God. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. I mean, this song is, if I go out for a walk, this is the first song I listen to. Sometimes on Saturday mornings on my way into work, I listen to this song. Mm-hmm. It pumps me up. The riff, the guitar riff, the vocals, he's just a monster. And I remember, I don't know if it became like a legend or not, but he used to sing so powerfully that he would break the diaphragms in microphones, and they'd have to replace the microphones because his voice was so strong.
That does not surprise me one iota.
Yep. Yeah. So
I mean, wow. Yeah.
Great tune.
And what a totally different thing from the solo song at the beginning.
Yes.
I mean, just completely different.
Yep.
Whew. All right.
All right.
Pearl Jam Part 2.
Yes. State of Love and Trust, Pearl Jam, my favorite Pearl Jam song. It's probably the reason why I overlooked Breathe. I just wanted to get right to this one.
Yeah.
Just bring me to the tune. The guitar arpeggios behind the vocal during the verse are great and something I would teach to my students all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a great exercise, but it's also a practical use of it. Mm-hmm. And the bass line just kind of leads the chord changes. I don't want to get too nerdy with the music stuff, but it's just a great song. Great vocal performance on this song where, as opposed to Breathe, where it is more that, that darker sound, he's really lively, and I still have no idea what he's singing. Not a clue, but I love it. And then the breakdown, the drums are so tight, and the bass tone is so gnarly in all the best ways.
Yeah,
that fuzzy bass tone.
Dude, when you talked about not being able to understand his lyrics, it made me think of Opera Man. Do you remember Opera Man? Opera Man would do that Eddie Vedder thing and just start going into it. The even flow.
Yep.
Oh, my God. That is a had to be there thing.
Even last night I was listening. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not going to, dude, if you're out there and you're young, I'm not telling you what Opera Man is. Go find out. Go figure it out. But when you find it, you'll thank me. Dude, this is a great song. I always felt like this song could have been on Versus. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the reasons I liked it so much. It was less polished. 10 is such a great album, but it is perfect. There isn't an errant anything on it. I mean, the way it's EQ'd, the way it's compressed, the way it's played, it's almost too perfect. And that's why when Versus came out, I was like, yes, this is what I want.
Animal,
now, that was kind of like the last they ever did that because they went back to sort of more polished stuff. But this song felt like it belonged on there. It was more cut down. There's hardly any effect on Eddie's voice at all. And it just, again, it felt more at home with those sort of less polished tunes. So it was a foreshadow of what they would become in their second album. But, anyway, I much prefer this version of Pearl Jam.
That's such a good point. But
yeah. So, all right. The next song, Overblown, Mudhoney. Mudhoney never quite got the fame and notoriety that some of their fellow Seattle compadres got to experience. Through the whole grunge era, they had a lot of underground fans and some not so underground, like Kurt Cobain. Mudhoney always felt more punk rock than grunge to me. And maybe that's what Kurt liked about them. I think Kurt wanted to be punk rock. He wasn't, but that's what he wanted to be. They were able to continue to be themselves without all the trappings of fame and fortune. And I think Kurt longed for that a little, maybe even a lot. Either way, I always enjoyed this song, and it's one of my favorites on this whole album. And it gave it gave this whole thing a little bit more street cred. The film got more street cred, because whoever was in charge of compiling the music within must have known the scene enough to include Mudhoney. This band was a lot more in line with the type of music I liked at this time of my life. I was more into seeing shows of punk rock bands at the Chameleon Club, the mosh pits and stuff like that. That's what I was into at this age. Grunge, even for me, grunge was just a little too pop. And, that's why I think I liked early Soundgarden so much, because that was definitely not like these other guys. They were different. They were harder. But anyway, that's how I feel about the Mudhoney song.
Yeah, I mean, bring on the fuzz guitars, bring on the flanger drums, like that.
Yeah.
It's such a cool sound. It's so different from the rest of it. And, you're right. It's 100% more punk than grunge. Obviously, Kurt Cobain did have, the punk drawing him by bringing Pat Smear into the band. He was a punk guy as well. So, I think he definitely wanted to be part of that.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think the way the punk scene is kind of fit who Kurt was more than obviously the theme that he.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there it is.
Yes.
Hey, you got Westerberg.
I know, waiting for somebody. So this is another favorite on this album. This feels more like a replacement song to me than Dyslexic Heart.
It's that chord progression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It has that Alex Chilton kind of driving guitar feeling. I love the call and response between the Oz and the guitar leads. But I think as a guitar player, thinking back on it, just the guitar tones, it's so dirty and nasty. It sounds like a Les Paul special or something, very simple guitar into an amp, and it's great. It is.
And, Westerberg sort of marries this new... the problem with saying indie is indie has lost almost all of its meaning today. Indie became a genre of itself instead of what it was, an independent artist. And I think, Westerberg represented sort of that, again, that street cred for this project, bridging sort of the old indie with this new grunge thing that was indie but was becoming mainstream. And because, 92 singles, this is coming out pretty early in the grunge, movement, okay? And this all happened really quickly. But I think Westerberg helps tie that to sort of the underground music movement that was occurring before grunge became this thing.
Yeah.
And dude, Westerberg's vocal delivery in this track is flawless. He is such a good singer.
That's a great point. I think including him on this did help bridge some some musical communities
Yeah.
together.
That's good. Speaking of a bridge.
Yes.
So we've got May This Be Love, Jimi Hendrix. It's now you're thinking, and now for something completely different. But we already had Heart, We already had, I don't call them Heart. We had the Wilson sisters. This song always seemed a little out of place on this soundtrack back in the day. It took me years to understand that it was a very real and raw sound of Hendrix and that late 60s era that the grunge bands were chasing. That raw, unfiltered, amplifiers that couldn't quite handle all the power being pushed through them sound. That was what they were chasing. And when you listen back, even when you listen to songs, when you go back, Pearl Jam absolutely ripped off Hendrix on a million little licks.
Oh, yeah.
In the same ways that the, British Invasion guys ripped off the old blues guys. There's just a lot of sort of borrowing here. Mm-hmm. And, that's music, period. Let's be honest. Everybody's standing on the shoulders of giants. So I'm not trying to unfairly, hammer on Pearl Jam or the grunge bands at all. This song is classic Hendrix, man. As much as I love his unique playing style, though, I've always really just liked his voice just as much as his guitar. I sometimes felt in the minority with that sentiment, but I don't care. I love Jimmy's voice. And that's not to take away from the fact that this song included, his guitar solos are so beautifully crafted. There was never anyone like Hendrix, man. And I doubt there ever will be again. He is a wholly unique and inexplicable talent. And he will live on in music long after we're gone.
Yeah.
Boom.
So, I personally have never been a Hendrix person. Yeah, I might get a lot of...
You don't like Hendrix, you don't like Zapp. What's happening here? What's going on here?
I don't know. It's like, I never really grew up with it. I have this thing about the sloppiness of the playing. Mm-hmm. Same thing, Jimmy Page, Hendrix. I just think, but ironically, a lot of the stuff you were talking about, the riffs that Pearl Jam steals from Hendrix, I play all the time. So I was obviously influenced by him just like everyone else was. So I don't know. There's just something, a disconnect for me with it. And, it feels so out of place on the album.
Yeah.
Now, it would be interesting to go back and watch the movie and see where this fits in. Maybe, to the story of the movie, it plays a bigger part than just a song on the album.
Right.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I just felt like it was a tie-in to sort of like, this is one of their heroes.
I think that's, when you said that, it did kind of resonate with me. So that's a very good point.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end.
Dude, we're getting there. Oh. So, what do you got next? Right. This is your last tune.
Yes, Nearly Lost You, Screaming Trees. This is a great song, great grunge tune. So, it jams. I saw Screaming Trees open for Oasis.
Wow.
On November 2nd, 1996 at the Core State Center.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
that's an interesting pairing.
I think it was the first concert at the Core State Center.
Wow. Okay.
I think it just opened.
Yeah.
And this was 4 years after Nearly Lost You and singles had been released. Mm-hmm. That was the only song of theirs I knew, but I know I lost my mind when they played that tune. And visually, they were not what I was expecting them. I had never seen them before, and they were not what I was expecting them to be. I remember two of the guys being very big guys, and the singer just being this little scrawny dude. But from the moment it kicks off,
they do not look like rock stars.
No, not at all. But the song, it just kicks you in the face from the opening. That infectious guitar lick and the haunting vocals. And the chorus has a strange feel through it. It feels like it's an odd time, but I think it's just kind of like the swing of the drums.
Yeah.
But it's a great song. I love it.
Dude, Lanigan's voice. Mm-hmm. It's so breathy. The Trees were one of the first grunge groups I got into before the genre hit mainstream. I was so into these guys. And man, when I think back on that time, I'm so thankful to have had so many great friends turning me on to good music, people that knew about stuff. You know, the Chameleon Club this was the time when Rich Ruoff was really, really bringing. He had his, thumb on the heartbeat of this good underground music, man. And I saw a lot of these bands, right down, a couple blocks from where I picked you up at the train station, man. I mean, and I had some friends that were like, you got to come to the show this Sunday. You're going to love this band, the Screaming Trees. And dude, suddenly I show up and here I see these guys. And then, 2 years later, they're on the Singles soundtrack.
Wow.
So it was such a cool time to live here.
Yeah.
And I'm really very thankful of that. I'm thankful to those friends. I'm thankful to Rich Ruoff for, the tireless work he did back in those days to bring in such great talent to our little town. And it was just, it really is cool.
And he's still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing it again now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Go, Rich.
Yeah. Dude, right on, dude. Yeah. So, hey, we're at the last song. All right. I'm going to try and be nice. So, this is Drown by the Smashing Pumpkins. For a soundtrack that did a pretty admirable job of staying in-house with Seattle bands or using sort of older bands with that timeless reputation like we were just talking about, this song has always felt like it was sort of shoehorned in by some music executive in a three-piece suit. I've never been a huge fan of this band that I know appeals to so many of my friends. Maybe it's Corgan's voice. Maybe it's his insufferable personality. He's like the Dave Mustaine of 90s pop rock. Dude just irks me. I know it's completely irrational. I know this. But this band is like Springsteen or Meatloaf for me. I just can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. As far as the song goes, it's not bad, which is high praise for me for this. But it doesn't have the edge of the other tunes. It's a little too bubblegum for this project. You won't be able to listen to this one on Spotify because it's blacked out. Normally, that would have disappointed me. But not with this song. I'm happy to end this soundtrack with the Screaming Trees.
I was surprised to even see you do this song. I thought you were going to leave it up.
I thought I might, but I feel like, this guy just irks me. And he's even more annoying now than he ever was before.
All right.
So
I guess we're not doing a Born in the USA album review either.
No. And, dude, everyone who knows me knows I just don't dig the boss, dude. I never have since I was a little kid. He sounds like a dying animal.
All right.
Can't do it. I'm sorry, dude. I know that you're originally from New Jersey, so
we have very little to be proud of.
You got Bon Jovi, dude.
Bruce Springsteen. Anyway.
Dude, you got the Atlantic City too.
That's true. All right.
Anyway,
well, I do have to disagree with you on this song.
Good.
I'll agree with you. Look, he is insufferable, and the voice is whiny, and all that stuff. But this song, I think, perfectly ends this soundtrack. To me, it fits right in with it, as opposed to the Hendrix song, which I'm still trying to figure out. But that guitar riff at the beginning, maybe because I do know the movie and I listened to the soundtrack, I'm used to hearing this end it.
Sure.
So maybe it just doesn't feel complete to me without it. But like you said, it could just be your personal thing, or you could be right and I could be wrong. It could just be my perception, just knowing it to be there.
There is no right or wrong, and that's the beautiful thing about music, man.
That's true.
And I don't say this enough on the show because normally, we choose things I like, and I do like this album. I like this album. It's just this one, particular thing that gets on me. And it's important to say this: music is subjective. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's not good. I don't like seafood either. But, it doesn't mean that seafood's not good, right? Music is very subjective. I have the things I like, and other people have things they like. And it's totally good. Everything's good. Everything's happy. And I'm not trying to say I don't appreciate their musicianship or them as musicians. That's not what I'm saying. He gets on my nerves. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's completely irrational. I'm the jerk here, not him. In this circumstance,
Maybe not.
Yeah.
You could be right.
I don't know. But anyway, hey, man, if you made it this far to hear me complain about Billy Corgan, then I really appreciate that. Hey, don't forget to, like, follow, and subscribe to us on Rooster Stone. Hey, we got a brand new single coming out. In fact, by the time you hear this, it should be out. So don't forget to check that out, Mr. Celebrity. It's got a video on YouTube. It'll have, you'll be able to download it on the website or listen to it on all the streaming sites. Please, 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 help a poor musician out and, just give it a listen or give it a share. Thanks so much. But we appreciate you. We got nothing but love. And we'd, as always, like to wish you peace.
And one.
Love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.